Hello class, these are our notes for Informal Geometry, section 3.1. Today we're looking at the relationship between lines is what we're looking at. So we're going to start out by talking about parallel lines. So the symbol for parallel lines looks like this. We make two lines that are kind of vertical and parallel looking. And then what I need to do is I do need to add that this is in a 2D world, okay? So parallel lines are coplanar. So we could think of them like on that same plane together, like that flat piece of paper, and they never intersect. There are a lot of really great memes and math jokes about parallel lines that we'll have to look at today. So we're going to add 2D world here because we're talking about like flat on that piece of paper. And so let's go ahead and draw some parallel lines. And then the marks that we use to show that they're parallel are little arrows kind of in the middle of the line. So those two marks are going to show. So those are the part that's showing us that we have parallel lines. So perpendicular lines, the symbol for perpendicular looks like this. And perpendicular lines are also coplanar. And again, we're talking about 2D world. We're not talking about 3D. We're talking about flat. And they intersect at right angles. Intersect at right angles. We're going to add in the words 2D world again here. And so here are two lines that form a right angle. And we can tell because I put the box there, right? And the box means 90 degrees. I didn't put arrows at the ends of these other lines. So let's go ahead and fix that. All right, so skew lines these are not going to be in the 2D world anymore. So these are not coplanar. So they're not flat. So this is not 2D. They are not coplanar. They occur in the 3D world only. So only in 3D world. And that's the weird part about them is that they are not parallel and they don't intersect. So they are not parallel, but don't intersect. So it kind of seems like you'd either have to be parallel or you'd have to intersect, right? But that's only when we're looking flat. When we talk about a 3D world, we can come up with something like this. So let's go ahead and draw a box. And then remember, each side on this box is going to represent a plane. So if I think about this line right here on the box that's vertical, and then I think about this line right here, those lines are never going to cross, but they also are not parallel. And that's because we're looking at the 3D world. So that's going to be my example of skew lines. So for example 1, we're looking to identify whether the lines are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So this is not multiple choice. We have to do each one of these. So N and M. So let's look at N and M. So N is right here. M is right here. And I noticed that they have these little arrows on those two lines. Since they each have one of those arrows, it shows that they're parallel to each other. So we can write down this symbol for parallel. You could write down the word, but we can write down the symbol. So it's just making those two kind of close together vertical lines. P and Q. So P is, let's see, P is here and Q is here. So they do cross, so they're not parallel. And they also don't have a box in the corner to show right angle. So those are going to be neither. And they would not be skew, right? Skew is only in the 3D world. For the last one, they're asking about N and P. So here's P. Here's N, and I can see the box where those two intersect, which means they cross at right angles, which means they are perpendicular. So put your perpendicular symbol on that one. You could write out the words, but doing the symbols is going to save you a lot of time and it'll help you learn them too. This is a little bit trickier, I feel like today, the part of geometry that we maybe struggled with in chapter 1. So we do have to read carefully. Okay, so now they're asking us, do lines W and X intersect? Or no, W and Y intersect. So what I have to envision here is I've got this flat as a paper kind of plane, right? So I have this plane right here. That's my plane. And then from what I can see, I have these parallel lines. So here's a line here, and I have one that's parallel to it over here. And then I have, and those are flat on the paper, right? And I can tell they're parallel because they have these markings. And then the other thing I see is we have this kind of line punching through the paper. And if you look at where it's crossing through the paper, it's crossing through line X. And then these dotted lines show it's behind because we can't see it, right? It's on the other side of that piece of paper. And then it's coming down underneath. So W and Y don't really actually intersect. So this line W is intersecting with X on that plane, but it's not intersecting with that other line. So my answer here is going to be no. It's asking which lines are parallel. Well, we've already identified those. Lines X and Y are parallel. So line X is parallel to line Y. Which lines are perpendicular? Okay, so this I didn't even notice right away. But as soon as they said perpendicular, I said, oh, there's like this little box in the corner here that I didn't notice. So that means line W and line X are perpendicular. So line W is perpendicular to line X. And then which are my skew lines? So which are my lines that are not parallel but don't cross? Well, that's going to bring us back to that W and Y, right, where they don't actually cross, but they're also not parallel. So line W and line, let's see, W and Y. All right, and we're on to the back side of our notes. Which lines are parallel to VW? So here's VW right here. So what is parallel to that? We've got a bunch that are parallel to that. All of these vertical sides are parallel, right? This one, this one, this one, those are all parallel. And since they're using a line symbol, the other ones look like segments, but this one's got the arrows on it, so I'm going to use segment symbols. So we have QT, segment symbol, we have RS, segment symbol again, and we have ZX. All right, I'm going to erase all my work so we can be ready for the next one. It's really nice to be able to do that on the computer screen. So the next one's asking us lines perpendicular to VW. So we're still looking at VW, but this time we want perpendicular lines. So perpendicular lines would be lines that cross at right angles. So we've got this one here is going to cross at a right angle. We've got this one here, and we've got this one, and we've got this one. So all of those would be right angles. So let's see, we've got RV, we've got ZV, we have XW, and we have SW. All right, let's erase our work again. Line skew to VW. So here's VW, and then we want to know skew. So this is going to be lines that don't cross and aren't parallel. So if I look at like this line over here, it's not parallel and it doesn't intersect. And then I've got, let's see, this one right here. Same thing, doesn't cross, not parallel. I've got this one in the front right here. That's another one. And I've got this one. So I've got 4 that are never going to cross it but also aren't parallel. So we've got QR, we've got QZ, we have TX here, and we have TS. All right, next one is asking us for planes parallel to plane TSX. So let's see, T is here, and then S, and then X. So when we say plane, we're talking about the bottom side on this box. So that's the plane, and we want to know planes parallel to that. Well, the plane parallel to that is going to be the top of the box. So I just need to write the word plane down, and then 3 of the points on that plane. So you could pick QRV, you could pick QRZ, you could pick whatever 3 points on the top of that. So I'm going to say QRV. What is the intersection of planes? Okay, so normally this is going to be a line. So let's think about that, of planes, and I'm going to want to erase this so I can highlight some new planes. So we're talking about plane QRS. So QRS, so that's going to be this side, kind of the left side of that box, and WXT. WXT, so that's going to be the bottom again. So if I'm thinking about that intersection, I'm looking at this line right here. Or in our case, again, we're saying line segment. If you'd put the line symbol instead, I would not be upset about that. So line TS, because we are supposed to kind of assume that planes go off forever in one direction. Okay, so, oh, all of my work disappeared here. What's going on? I made it really big. Okay, so on your own, so you should try this on your own, and then go ahead and check answers. So go ahead and pause the video, and I'll come with some answers really quick and kind of narrate it. So you could pause this and then you could watch it in a minute. So parallel to EH, here's EH. So parallel would be here and here and here. So we have AD, we have BC, and we have FG. And I meant to write a G there. Okay, then we're going to erase our work. So hopefully you tried this on your own. Perpendicular to EH. So if EH is right here, this is a rectangular prism, so we can assume right angles. So this one's going to cross at a right angle, and this one, and this one, and this one. So all of those would cross EH at right angles. So we have, let's see, AE. We have EF, HB, and DH. Go ahead and erase our work again. And then last thing we have to do is come up with skew. And that seems to be the trickiest one for people. Really helps to write on these and use different colors. I know you guys kind of laugh at me, but it really does help. So EH is right here. And we want to know things that are skew. So that means doesn't cross and not parallel. So skew would be like BF right here. CG is another one. Let's see, where else? This side right here doesn't actually cross, that's AB. And the last one would be in the back, DC would be another one. All right, hopefully this helps you out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask during class. Have a great day.